books, index cards, 100, and of course, more beer. This is Starships and Steel. Stay tuned. Today on Starships and Steel, I'm not building anything. I'm going to talk to you and we talk about some ideas I have for the channel and go forward from there. First thing, I reached 100 subscribers this past week, which was cool and awesome. And then Jeremy over at Black Magic Craft plugged the channel, and now I'm probably close to being over 150. So in a day with his support and just mentioning my channel, I gained 50 subscribers overnight. So if you're one of those guys, welcome to the channel, and I hope you enjoy everything. I do build stuff, as you can see in my past videos, but today I'm going to talk more about what's going on with me and the channel and that kind of stuff. I do want to take a second and talk about some of the stuff I've been reading recently, and I use the term reading loosely. I use a lot of audiobooks on the train in and out of work. So right now, strangely, I listen to some Robert E. Howard. Not Conan though. I'm not listening to any Conan right now. I downloaded a selection of books, or short stories I guess, from Robert E. Howard. It's a collected works of his horror stories. So it's all kind of crazy, creepy stuff, and it runs the gamut from his modern times, essentially early 1900s, and all the way back to, there's some Brad McMorran stories in there, which is like Celtic, Pictish, against the Romans kind of stuff. Pretty cool. And why am I mentioning all this? Because this isn't really fantasy based and it's not sci-fi based. Because every one of those stories is cool and has awesome ideas in it. Even the more modern ones have awesome ideas. The last one I just read was a couple of adventurers, and I don't know exactly the time period, but they had guns, so probably 1890s, maybe 1900s, not sure. Adventurers in the desert. They come across a lost city they're looking for while they're being pursued by some Arabs. And in the lost city they come across the king, the dead king, who's supposed to be in there. And in his hand is a jewel. And they learn the jewel was forged by, or retrieved by a wizard, and it's supposed to be forged from the flames of hell. And he uses it to do a whole bunch of magic until he loses favor with the king. And in his final thing, he kills the city and makes the king sit there forever with the jewel in his hand. And if anyone touches it, bad things happen. I mean, so they use guns, and these guys get cornered and beat, and they barely escape with their lives. But it's an example of, you can find really cool ideas in all kinds of stories. And if you haven't read any Robert E. Howard, if you haven't read Conan, obviously I think you should, but all of his other stories have a lot of cool ideas in them as well. I am less versed in some of his other stuff, but I'm getting there, and I would encourage all of you guys to get there too. And while we're talking about reading, I also got in the mail, this is for you, Hankerin. I got your book. I haven't started reading it yet. It's on my list for things I'm going to do when I go camping in a couple weeks. So I'm going to take that, and in the evening, when I'm not fishing or whatever, I'm going to light a fire. I'm going to sit by that fire, and I'm going to read your book. So looking forward to that. That should be a fun trip. So that's books. That's 100. What else do I want to talk about? Index cards. What do I got here? I mean these, kinda. If you guys follow Drunken Dragons, that guy is awesome. He's a great artist, and he's also good ideas. Highly recommend his channel. Go check it out if you haven't. He's got ideas in his head, lots of them. And his last idea was, it started with, I guess, index cards. I mean, from my perspective, it started with him doing index cards and quick pictures that people could use to put down and show items or zones or whatever. And quickly that blew up for him into a full-fledged RPG system. So I've downloaded the system, and I've looked at it briefly. I haven't had a good chance to look over it yet, but I wanted to mention it in this video. It's very cool. If you've spent any time on his channel and heard his ideas about role-playing and about numbers and systems, then you will recognize a lot of that stuff in the book. I recommend the book even if you don't want to play his system. He's got a lot of his ideas codified in there, his room design ideas, and his basic ideas on being a GM. So highly recommend that as well. It was worth the money, and I kind of want to play it, but I'm not sure when I'll get to it. Because I don't have much time to play games, because I'm a busy dude with other games, but just not role-playing games. So, Index Card RPG, 2 thumbs up so far. I will get more time to look at it. And he also includes in all that stuff they're PDFs that you can print and then cut up into cards. But he also includes online play kits. So these are all the items broken out into single graphics, so you can load them into Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, XSplit, whatever you guys want to use for your games. And he has a lot of those. And when you get the ICRPG, the actual core book, he's got all of his cards, not all the cards as cards, but he's taken some of the images and the heroes and that kind of stuff and broken them into tokens so you can use them on your game board. So that's pretty cool as well. So lots of good value there, and we're going to talk about what I'm going to do with that in a minute. Before we get there, I was in the liquor store, and they had some interesting cans of beer, which I almost picked up. They were porters. They were really inexpensive, and they had cool art on them. And I was like, man, I should try one of those. They look like a good idea. And then I looked over. Then I looked over and I saw this. And how could I say no to that? So this is a limited edition, barrel-aged, cast iron coffee stout, aged in bourbon barrels. Huh? I'm sure eventually that Jeremy's going to watch this in Black Magic and he's going to be jealous, I'm sure. And I'm going to try this right now, and I'm going to tell you what I think of it. Let's see what we got in here. It comes with a nice box. This is Wild Rose Brewery, which is a local brewery. Over there. Batches are small, so heed the call of the barrel-aged wild while you can. So, what does it say here? In 2016, Wild Rose Brewery teamed up with Calgary Heritage Roasting Company to produce the Cast Iron Coffee Stout. This bold brew was made with craft roasted coffee beans and Alberta malt. After spending several months in bourbon barrels, it has transformed into a complex layered stout with notes of chocolate, vanilla, and oak. 6.1% alcohol, decent sized, it says local and awesome. I'll get out my trusty Gozelle drinking mug. Pop this bad boy, hope it doesn't explode on me because I don't have any towels close by. Alright. So all you guys who like drinking beers, or other kinds of alcohol, I do drink other stuff on channel, sometimes scotch, but mostly beers. Nice dark color, eh? I suspect I will think this needs a widget, but that's just me. Smells nice. Pretty good. Try again. Definitely some chocolate, maybe some vanilla. Less convinced about that. It's pretty good. I will enjoy drinking it while I talk about the rest of the channel. So as you guys, if you guys look through my channel at all, you guys know I do some crafting. And I talk about the Conan RPG a lot. And one of the things I did was, or maybe am still doing, I don't know, a set of tutorials for the new RPG from Modiphius, the new 2D20 system, which I like and my players like a fair bit, which I also would recommend checking into if you like Conan and want to see how that system works. They have I've said this before, a free quick start rules on drive-through. But when I was doing that, I kind of promised to do a playthrough, which I've never done. I've half scripted it, I've never got enough time to finish it, and so I'm not really sure that I'm ever going to get to it. However, Runehammer Games released ICRPG, and with that they released a lot of he released a lot of online tools, graphics, art, which I was going to use for my walkthrough anyways, because I think it translates over to the Conan RPG really well. Not all the pieces of art, but the concept of it. So I was going to use his index cards and kind of show how they would work with Conan. But I haven't got around to it, and I'm not sure I'm going to really easily, so I was thinking maybe I should do a set of smaller encounters. I could have a little segment on the channel called Conan Encounters, Encounters with Conan, Encounters in the Hyborian Age, I don't know. But in that I could do like a basic quick room where I could have the characters come in and I could roll dice and show how things work. So I might try that at the end of this video. In fact, we'll just say I'm going to, that way I have to. So we'll try and use XSplit because I'm kind of interested in how that works. So we'll try and use that, and we'll try and show my basic concepts for how this encounter system might work. So when we go there, when we watch that part, let me know what you guys think of it, and leave a comment below whether you think that's a valuable addition to the channel, because I think it might be. But if no one likes it and they think it's a waste of time, then I obviously won't continue to do it. But we'll do at least one today. So we're going to use the ICRPG online toolkit, and we're going to show how that might work with a different game system like Conan. I'm going to build a couple new things to track momentum and vigor and that kind of thing. Have some basic character sheets that aren't going to be the entire Conan character sheet. If you've seen it, it's pretty big. But it'll have like the melee stuff if it's going to be a melee encounter, or sailing stuff if it's going to be a sailing encounter, or if you have to like climb up a mountain or whatever. We'll look at that as well. But I think I have talked enough, so I'm going to finish this while I work on that, and then I'm going to put it on the end of this video, and we're going to go forward from there. And rest assured, I do have some crafts coming soon, because I need to get a whole bunch of crap done before the end of June, when my next game session is, which is really far out, but I'll procrastinate, and then it won't get done, and that'll be bad. So, you guys all have a good weekend. Enjoy whatever beers you drink. Be safe. And I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers. This is going to be our attempt at running the Hyborian Age encounter system that I was talking about, so we can try some stuff with Conan. So I don't have a dice camera yet, so in the end I would like to have a streaming option so you guys can see the dice that get rolled, but for now, I'm just going to take my word for it, I guess, as we go forward. So on the screen in the top right hand corner, I've got like a D20 with a 1 on it. That's going to represent our difficulty that we're aiming for. If you've watched Conan before, any of my other videos, you'll know that difficulty ratings are difficulty 1 to 5. That is what you're trying to get success-wise on your D20s when you roll them. On the left hand side, I have a Doom tracker and a momentum tracker. On the momentum tracker, I have a small icon representing the same figure as I'm using for my hero in the game, which is like a little knight guy. That represents his level of fortune right now. So he has 3 fortune to start, which means the GM gets 3 doom to start. And that's going to be the start of the game, essentially. So we've got our hero who's traveled long and far, and he's finally found himself at the entrance to this mountain in the Turanian wasteland, essentially. It's a good place for it. And he's looking up at it. He's searched for days and days and days, and as he approaches, as he gets closer, he notices that the cavern door isn't just a cavern. It's actually got a big wooden door in it that's locked. So our hero moves up to that door, and he looks at it and inspects it. So I've got over here, I've got another scene which will have his basic concepts on it. So I've got his brawn, his agility for combat, his coordination, his vigor, his wounds, and I got a couple trackers here so I can track him if I need to, and then his armor. It's pretty basic stuff. I don't have a lot of stuff on here, so we're not going to do anything super fancy, but his brawn is 10, so
he will attempt to break open the door. So he gets to roll 2d20. He can roll 3d20 if he wants, and he will do that. He can roll up to 5d20. He gets 2 to start. If he can buy more dice by spending momentum, which he has none of, we're giving the GM extra doom. So I'm going to give the GM 1 extra doom point, give him 4. I'm going to roll 3 dice. My brawn is 10, so I'm not super strong, but it's only difficulty 1. So we'll see what happens. To roll my dice, and my results are 13, 15, and 16. So I fail to open that door. The door does not budge as he presses his shoulder against it. Well, that's not very good. So he could try and pick it if he had skills, which he doesn't really. If you're a mean GM, you can make the difficulty more now because he's tried and failed, and now he has mental issues with trying to open it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just say he can try again if he wants to. And again, I'm going to buy an extra point of doom, or an extra die with a point of doom. I'm going to roll my 3 dice, try and push that door open again, throw a die on the ground for fun. Apparently it's a slinky and it goes downstairs. So in this point in time, I've actually managed to get 1 success, and I've managed to open that door, although I get no momentum because I only got 1 success. So what's beyond that door? Beyond that door is a small corridor. And as I move into that corridor, it's dark. But as I move into there, I note that against the walls are a couple of skeletons. And on the end of it is a tomb. And so I think to myself, well, perhaps there's treasure in that tomb. And so I approach. But as I approach, the 2 skeletons come to life and attack me. So this is our first example of combat in our little encounter. GM has a fair bit of doom. I have no momentum. Players always attack first unless the GM spends a point of doom. Why not? To steal initiative. So I'll do that. My 2 skeletons will attack with a mob. So little minion guys normally get 1d20. If they attack with a mob, they get 1d20 for each guy in the mob, up to 5. So I will roll my 2d20, and I will roll a 9 and a 15, which gives me 1 hit. So combat dice in this game are d6s for damage, but they're not regular d6s, as you've seen in my other examples. So I'm going to roll 4d6 for combat dice for my skeletons, because they struck. So I rolled a 2, a 5, a 3, and a 4. The 3 and the 4 are nothing, they do not count. And the 2 and the 5, I have no effects for my skeleton for his weapon, so it equals 3 points of vigor damage. Look at my guy. I have a soak of 3, but it's my helmet. So we'll roll my die to see where I get hits. I get hit in the body. So my Brigandine for body is 2, so I take 1 point of vigor damage. Oops. That there. 1 point of vigor damage. So that doesn't really do anything to me apart from start giving me a little bit of damage. It's not an actual wound. It's being tired, scratched up, whatever. So my guy will now attack. If we go back to our scene we were just on there, we can see our agility is 13. My target number is 15 for melee. So I'm going to roll my 2d20. And I'm going to roll a complication, which is not good. We'll just use it right now. You can be cleverer than this, but I'll just give the GM 1 point of doom. And I rolled a 3. The 3 equals nothing. My focus is 2. And I rolled a 3, so that's only 1 success. That's all I need to hit this guy in this current encounter. Go back here. We're going to see I have a broadsword, reach 2, 5 combat dice damage. I have a brawn of 10, which gives me an additional 2 combat dice. So that gives me 5, 6, 7 combat dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Need more d20s. 7. Alright. So I'm going to slice at these two skeletons with my broadsword. I rolled 4, 3, 4, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of my dice do not matter. And otherwise I rolled 5, 6, and a 2, which is 4 points. I have no really special abilities on my weapon. It gives me 4 points of damage to the skeleton. They generally have 5 points of vigor and a wound each. So I do 4 points of vigor damage to the skeleton. We won't give them any armor in this case, so I don't actually take any down. And that's the end of round 1. So we'll go back to round 2. Round 2, I get initiative, I can attack again. So I'm going to roll my 2d20 to give the GM another point of doom to roll another die. Roll my dice. So I rolled a 4, a 9, and a 19. So that's good. So that gives me a point of momentum. So I can use that for extra damage and that kind of stuff. Let's roll our 7 combat dice for damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We do 1, 2, 3 points of damage to this first skeleton. So we're going to do 1 point of damage to the first skeleton, which will kill it, because his vigor was at 4. So when we reduce his vigor to 1, or to 0 rather, he takes a wound. That will eliminate that skeleton. Book. So the other skeleton will take 2 points of damage, so he'll have 3 points of vigor left. And now he will attack. He only gets to roll 1d20 unless I spend some doom. So let's spend 2 points of doom and roll 3d20. So you rolled a 1, a 9, and a 14. So the 14 won't hit, but the 9 and the 1 will hit. It will actually be 3. Which will give him 2 points of doom. 2 points of momentum, essentially. We'll just track it that way for right now. And he does 4 points of combat dice damage. So he does 2. Make it 4 points of damage to the hero. So I do 2 more points. 2. Still doing pretty good. No real damage to me yet. And that's the end of round 2. Round 3. My hero will attack. He will spend 3d20. He'll only spend 2d20, screw it. He rolls a 17 and 6. That is a hit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. His combat dice do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points of damage, which is plenty to kill that skeleton. So he kills the second skeleton. And now he's free to move up and do as he pleases, unharassed by the skeletons. So he approaches the tomb, coffin, sarcophagus, whatever you want to call it, and inspects it. And that's where I'm going to end this little short adventure. Depending on what you guys want to do, your inspection might show you some runes. Maybe he wants to read those runes. Maybe you figure he doesn't have a very good skill or is dark. You can make it difficulty 3 when he tries that. You can use a momentum, whatever you guys want to do. This is just a really quick example of a really fast rule set concept with some fighting and some of the index card stuff, online play toolkit that you get with the ICRPG. So there's a lot of this stuff, and it makes it really simple and quick to set up little adventures, whether you're using D&D, Conan, 2D20, or ICRPG, or Pathfinder, or whatever else you want to play. Right now it's currently mostly fantasy based, but I believe he's working on a set of cards that will be science fiction based, because he has a sci-fi setting in ICRPG as well, fantasy setting and sci-fi setting. So that's pretty cool. So if you found this interesting and think this is a valuable addition to your knowledge base, please subscribe to my channel, hit like, and please leave a comment below. Until next time, this has been Keith, and this is Starships and Steel.